Hey Wargamers, welcome back to the channel, Death from Above Wargaming. I'm Aaron and I'm back with more Battlytics. This time it is a fan favorite selected by our patrons, the Phoenix Hawk 2C. And this is the 2C7. Phoenix Hawk 2C7. So fun fact, I didn't actually know this thing was 80 tons until recently. When I was at Adepticon and playing against Randall and Ray, and this thing went on the table, and I was like, God, that's freaking gigantic. For some reason, I thought it was like 50 tons, 55 tons. All the 2C mechs are like slightly bigger. This one's obnoxiously bigger. And this is a nasty, nasty variant. Fun facts. It was built in 3078, and Clan Diamond Shark has been known in this era to just sell it to whoever, including Inner Sphere Powers and Mercenaries. So if you want to field a Phoenix Hawk 2C7 in your force, and you're an Inner Sphere player, go for it. It's in the lore. It's legal. So this thing, again, 80 tons. It is a battle value of 2219. Now that's not terrible as far as 80-ton clan mechs go. This is, again, assault class, and it moves 4-6, has improved jump jets, and jumps 6 as well. So this thing can absolutely zip across the board for its size. It has 10 double heat sinks, XL Fusion engine. It has endo steel, but everything else is standard, including the armor. However, it's packing 14.5 tons for 233 pips, 94.3% total coverage. So that is a significant amount of armor. And if you look at that central diagram, everything looks real good. Side torso is covered up very nicely, just a little bit off in the CT, the arms and the legs, but overall, really, really good armor spread there. It's got all its fingers and toes, upper, lower, hand actuators on both sides. And I mean, let's look at the armament here. This thing is absolutely beastly. So it's got a pair of Clan LB10X ACs, one in each torso, left torso, right torso. It also has 2 Clan ER medium lasers, which are significantly more powerful, as you know, than their Inner Sphere cousins. One of those in each arm. And then it has a pair of Clan Streak 4s in the CT. And it's got, in my opinion, fantastic ammo. 20 for each autocannon, 25 to support both of the SRM4s, so it's about 12.5 shots per launcher, if you want to look at it that way. And then the jump jet's located in the torso and the legs, so they're going to be filling out some important criticals there. So that's the Phoenix Hawk. It looks good so far. Again, it's got a pretty big price tag, but it's a pretty big mech, guys. I don't know. Is this a winner? This could be. Let's find out. Phoenix Hawk 2C7 analysis coming right up. The most important question I will ask is, will this outperform the Jaeger Mech DG? I don't know. Leave it in the comments right now. What do you think? Make your predictions. Lock them in. The Phoenix Hawk 2C7. So the first thing you'll see here is it builds up a little bit of heat, right? It's very, very heat efficient for only 20 heat sinks. But once those ER mediums come into play and the SRM 4s come into play, the streaks fire 12 inches, by the way, right? Once all that stuff is happening, you can build up 1 point of heat per turn while walking. If you decide to run, you'll build up a little bit more. If you decide to use those improved jump jets, you will build up even more. Now, the good news is this. It builds up 273.3 points of heat on the baseline. I'm sorry, points of damage on the baseline. If you push it for just a little bit of heat, and you ride that, you basically smash all the buttons, you can increase your damage by a meager 1.5%. And raise it to 277.3. Is it worth it? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. I know some of you guys love going crazy on the heat. I prefer to keep it, under under 7, right? So I do not want to have that gunnery penalty hitting my mech, right? So I like to keep it, movement penalty only, which I can survive with a little bit of a slowdown. But once you start hitting into the gunnery of the mech, I think there's a significant drop in the efficiency of the mech. We can actually talk about that later if you want. Let's take a look at the lethality, though, for now. So this thing's doing pretty well. Damage per hit, 7.5. Critical hits, 3.39. So that's pretty decent. That's about average. And time to kill is 7.98. So it's below average. Just going to say it's not as good as the Jagermech. But it doesn't have twin Gauss rifles or twin ERPPCs or anything like that. It does have a good spread of weaponry. And again, you can buckshot those LBX, or you can solid slug them. In this scenario with the lethality, it's always solid slugging them because it's trying to get the kill as quickly as possible. But you would see an uptick in critical hits if you went with the cluster, and you'd see probably an increased time to kill. So just food for thought there. But overall, I think it does very, very well. It's definitely designed to kill. It may not have that big punch that some other mechs might have, but I think it's going to make up for it in their survivability, because we saw it has gobs of armor, and I think that that ammo is located in pretty favorable places. So why don't we jump into that? Let's take a look at the defensive side. Here it comes. So the first thing I love here is that the rear torso isn't grossly over-armored. Everything is pretty much exactly where you would want it to be, at least for me, if I were designing a mech and I was putting the armor, where I wanted it. The CT, I always want the most armor on, because from a probability perspective, you're going to roll a 7 more than you're going to roll any other single location. So I want the most armor there. Followed by my side torsos, because again, you lose one of those, you also lose an arm, followed by my arms, legs. And again, my rear, for me, a mech, especially with jump jets, unless you're really grossly outmaneuvered, there really isn't, to me, like, you shouldn't be taking a ton of rear shots, right? So I like the way this is set up. I think it's really strong. We talked about jump jets being in the leg, so those critical slots are packed out. So you almost never see a drop in just base mobility, right? It comes with, out of the box, a +3 movement mod, right? That's the best you can get if you're running. In the 10,000 simulations, the defensive simulation went down to 2.9. So very, very good. You're only seeing a motive hit 3 out of 100 shots, right? You have to eat through all that leg armor, and then you have a 4 out of 6 chance to hit something like a foot actuator, lower, upper, hip, right? Because again, the other 2 are jump jets. It's not taking away from that baseline mobility. Survivability is absolutely tremendous, 97.2%. That's very, very good. What's really fun is that it has the ammo in the head. The SRM ammo is located in the head, and then the LBX ammo is co-located in the arms, in the left arms and right arms, respectively. So you almost never see, ammo. I mean, of course, it's a clan mech, right? Everything's case, but you never see the ammo ripping through, taking out engine slots. And honestly, if you're internal on the head, you might as well eject anyway. It is what it is, right? Something bad is going to happen. So might as well stick the ammo in there too. Very bold design choice. So it helps with the ejection. It propels the ejection seat out of the mech when you hit the SRM ammo. Anyway, I digress. So overall, it's a very strong defensive showing. We had a pretty decent offensive showing. Again, battle value is not off the charts, so let's take a look and see where it falls in terms of the efficiency. All right, so here we are onto the efficiency analysis. And is it going to be better than the Jagermech? It is, just by a little bit though. 8.82. That's a really strong efficiency rating. Again, you've got a 97.2 survival, and you're bringing all your guns to bear. You're only losing 1.2% of your optimized damage. You're only losing 1.2% due to death. Which is fantastic. And then if we look at the gunnery sensitivity, it's definitely responsive, 0.77. So you can get increases in this thing. And if you look at the effective damage by gunnery, if you were so inclined to run this at gunnery 2, which is where all these simulations are done, it would clock in at 3107 BV. At baseline gunnery 4 is 2219. I would not do that. I think I would absolutely run this at gunnery 3 or better. You have the streaks, which is really, really nice. The LBX and the ER mediums, they have great range. So I think you could get away with gunnery 3, but if you wanted to really wreck shop with it, you could definitely dial it up to a 2 or a 1. And you can see you'll get the return on investment there. So overall, what we're seeing here, a very, very efficient mech, very strong on the damage side, even stronger on the defensive side. Let's talk about roles. Let's talk about threat. But I do want to call one thing out. I was just thinking about this. How cheesy is it that they stuffed the ammo in the arms and the head, and the LBX cannons are actually in the side torsos? I may have said that the ammo was co-located. It's not. The LBX are in the side torsos, the ammo's in the arms. Like, whoever designed this thing was like max cheese. It's like totally like a fan-made design, because it's basically all of the rules. Like, why would you ever do that? No other mech in BattleTech. Like, everything is, it's got like especially in the 3025 era, everything has like suboptimal design patterns. And this one's like, we're going to put the ammo in the arms. It makes sense. Anyway. Again, off on a tangent. I'm just jealous. I'm just jealous of these fantastic clan second line designs. But again, let's take a look at threat and roles. All right, so I came up with 3 roles for this particular mech. Unlike the Jaeger mech, which is really just a one-dimensional design, I think this thing is very, very good. So Brawler and Cavalry, they're very similar. The reason I picked them both is because it does have those improved jump jets, so it can keep up with some lighter designs, maybe 5/8, like, and I shouldn't say lighter designs, but things that are a little bit quicker, your Vultures, your Timberwolves, like those types of things. I think the improved jump jets definitely help to get it across the table, especially if it's really bad terrain very quickly. It's definitely more dangerous in close, right? And so I think playing that Brawler style role is where you want this thing to be. It is big, it's imposing, the new model's incredible, so you definitely want to get it up and personal. The other role that I picked for this one, which was, I challenged myself on it, but then I decided to stick with it, was Skirmisher. It's not particularly fast, but again, it's got a jump range of 6. I mean, that's significant, especially when you can clear 6 levels of terrain, right? You can get up and over tons of stuff. You can pop in. You can hit them for a significant amount of damage, especially if you're within 12 inches or 12 hexes, and then you can bounce out the following turn. If you need to cool off, you can. You do what you need to do. So you can really sort of harass bigger, slower, whether they're Atlases and Stalkers and things along those lines, or whatever it may be. I mean, you could pose a very interesting threat with this mech, moving it, flanking it, trying to get those rear arc shots. And again, a jump of 6 is very significant. You can also probably DFA with this thing. It's pretty heavy, so you might be able to do some interesting damage if you needed to as a last ditch, or if you really want to humiliate your opponent. Anyway, so that's what I'm thinking in terms of roles. Now, if we look at the threat assessment, right, the Achilles heel of this mech is certainly range. It can't shoot past 18 hexes or 18 inches, right? So if you're in a wide open, battleground, and you're going up against, whether it's other clan mechs with ER large, ER PPCs, LRMs, right? Or Gauss rifles, anything like that, you might get worn down significantly before you can bring your weapons to bear. And in that regard, I think you want to, you basically want to hold down the trigger on those improved jump jets to get this thing into range or leverage terrain to block line of sight as aggressively as possible until you're really within, in my opinion, 12 inches. When all your weapons are able to be brought to bear, that's where you can see this thing really step up. So That's my 2 cents on this design. I think the closer the better. Leverage those improved jump jets. That's going to get you the return on investment. That's going to get you the efficiency that you're looking for out of this design. In terms of firing arcs, I think, we talked about this in the beginning. It's got hand actuators, so you can't do any arm flipping. However, you can torso twist and fire an arm into your rear arc, but you've only got a laser on the arm, right? Everything else is basically torso mounted, so you can only really do a little bit of damage. But don't be afraid to punch and kick with this thing either. 80 tons is it's pretty meaty. You'll get pretty good damage off physical attacks with this thing. If, of course, you're not a honor-bound clan pilot who is forbidden from physical attacks. But if you're a filthy scumbag mercenary that has purchased this beautiful design through Clan Diamond Shark, again, feel free to physical away with it. But that's it. That's all I've got on the Phoenix Hawk 2C7. Tell me what you think about this one. So I went through all the Phoenix Hawk 2Cs. This is the one I picked. I thought this one was very, very interesting. I thought it had a nice spread of weapons. It's almost like, I almost want to say like Crusader-esque in the sort of symmetry of the weapons. But tell me what you think about this design. Tell me if there's a Phoenix Hawk 2C that you like better. Would love to hear all about it. But that said, I'm all wrapped up with this. Couple of things. Number one, Aries Games and Minis. If you need to buy, whether it's mechs, dice, books, novels, terrain, he's got some third-party resellers on there as well. All the Catalyst stuff, all the old Ironwind Metal stuff, whatever your heart desires, Aries has it. Also, don't forget to check out terrainify.com if you want to dress up your tabletop. Don't forget to check those guys out. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. And more importantly than subscribing is just click the freaking like button. We get like thousands and thousands of views, and I get like 200 thumbs up. Like, do you not like the video, guys? Hurts my feelings. Actually, we get like more comments than we get likes. I don't understand. Just click the freaking thumbs up. It actually matters a lot. Really helps out the channel, spreads the word through the black hole that is YouTube. So that said, Patreon. If you want to help us out a little bit more, come on over to Patreon. If you like what you see, you want to support what you love, Patreon's the way to do it. And that's it. I'm all done marketing. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this murder math, as some call it, murder math on the Phoenix Hawk 2C7. That's all I've got. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. Of course, stay tuned. Always great stuff coming from Death from Above Wargaming.